Hi, Pepper here. It's kind of a bit of an impromptu video because it's been coming up more and more, and I'm a bit worried, we're a bit worried that because basically the thing is DID is becoming more known about, and not mainstream, but on YouTube and TikTok and things like that. And as it's becoming more mainstream, it's getting kind of more haters, and so many people who I don't know, I think maybe they think they're trying to help the DID community, but calling out other people and saying that they're fakers and that it's not real and that they're making it up, basically it makes me as an alter feel really sort of sad, because we're sharing ourselves online and a lot of these people are trying to share themselves online on TikTok specifically, and as an alter we have to hide for so long in our life, and we have to pretend that we don't exist for so long, that being able to share yourself and being able to sort of make a video and be yourself feels really great, and I think that alters and systems should share their systems and their other alters, and my big worry is that these people are putting themselves out there. These alters, these real people, are sharing themselves, and people are saying they're fakers. It's all fake, and they'll come up with reasons like, oh, people who really suffer with DID really struggle, and it's a soul-crushing disorder, and real people with DID don't just have loads of personalities based off of characters, and it's not all fun for these people. And well, I think that maybe that's coming from a good place. Maybe they're just trying to help people, but it doesn't help people with DID. Because the other thing is, some people with DID, like our system, we're really lucky, but we don't have loads of trauma, and we don't really struggle, and we are getting on with our life fairly well. And if you keep telling people that are suffering with DID that they're faking it because they're okay that day, then that makes everybody think that DID has to be this really bad extreme, when there's so many other, variations of the disorder. It is a really awful disorder for a lot of people, and it's awful and really hard as an alter to exist when you know that everybody else would just rather you weren't there, and there's a lot of really awful things that come with it. But we should also be able to celebrate and be happy for and interact with alters. And sorry for my dog, if there's a system that is happy and comfortable to share their alters on in a TikTok, we should be interacting with them and saying, hi, it's nice to meet you, and or if you like their style or whatever, interacting with them as individuals, not saying, oh, actually I think you're faking it because your fictive alter, which is a thing that can happen, is too light-hearted. There's a thing within DID where as you're all growing up together next to each other and you're developing and creating alters, if you're struggling and you see something that makes you feel safe, or that makes you really happy, you can develop an alter that is that thing, because it's something that meant a lot to you, and it's something that felt protective and good to you, so your personality will want to replicate that. That's a real thing that can happen. You can have alters that are fictional characters or creatures. You can have fairies, vampires, werewolves, you can have mermaids, you could have animal alters that grow up feeling that they are an animal, because maybe when you were a kid you saw your dog and you loved them and you wanted to keep that with you as a way of dealing with this trauma. But suddenly I feel like if this is more and more popularised, then any happiness and joy won't be allowed to be had by people with DID for fear of being called out as fakers. I feel like if we were more popular and mainstream, if we made loads of TikToks, then people would probably call us fakers because we don't remember trauma and because we work well as a system. But that doesn't and shouldn't mean that we should be called fakers. We have a diagnosis, and I think, again, with most people with DID, they question that they have it themselves. Like Emma's talking about this Reddit group that she's now in, and a common thing that comes up is people thinking that because they don't present in a similar way to other people, that they don't have DID, even though they've got a diagnosis, even though it's obvious that they do, you know, even though they've got alters and they have dissociation and they have amnesia, they'll still question it because for some reason it's become really popular to call people out as fakers. Now, here's the other side of things. If somebody is faking a disorder and somebody is faking DID, my first gut instinct, if somebody came to me and was like, oh, I have DID too, my first instinct would be to take them at their word, because I don't know. I'm not in their head. I can't possibly say. I would get to know them, and if over, you know, their actions and the way it presents and the way they switch and things like that does seem fake to me, I would maybe in my head be cautious and suspicious, but it's not worth calling them out. It's not worth the anger and the hostility towards people. There's a chance that that person might really be struggling. And on the other hand, if they don't have DID, they could have fictional DID, which is where you sort of like take on the characteristics or the traits or sort of act as if you do have it and you kind of believe that you do even though you don't. And in that case, there's still something going on there and that person needs care. The only other type of person that would fake it is literally for the attention and, you know, to be like, look at me, look at how cool I am because I've got this disorder. And I think, again, it's just not worth being like, you're fake. I'm sure we've spoken about this before, but it caused me to front because as an alter, this really scares me. Because there's whole compilation videos of DID fakers on TikTok, and we took a quick look because we're like, really? And maybe we shouldn't have, but we took a quick look, and from what we could see, there's no evidence to say that they don't have DID. There wasn't a massive obvious red flag to me that was like, oh, they don't have DID. People are always like, oh, it's all these teenagers. Well, maybe it is all these teenagers, but maybe all these teenagers do have DID. Just because they're teenagers doesn't make them any less valid. Maybe it's because they're online a lot more and in communities that are more accepting. Whereas a lot of the older people with DID have had to hide it so much that it's become really internal. Whereas they're trying to celebrate their alters. They might use like trendy things or, you know, style themselves in a trendy way. but that doesn't mean that it's fake. I just, it really upsets me because I'm really worried that, I mean, our goal and our dream would be that DID is far more known about, and that alters could change and be like, oh, I have DID, this is my, I'm Pepper, and I could come out and say hi to people, and I could say, I've got DID, it's Pepper now, and people would know that and accept me and treat me as an individual and not want to get rid of me. That would be really nice. But I feel like that will never happen, because as more and more people are learning about DID and finding out about it, more and more people are hostile against it and want to call us fake. And maybe that's just humanity. Maybe anything that gets, more celebrated will have more pushback against it. I mean, I suppose with, the LGBTQIA plus community, that's got people pushing back against it. Like Ren being non-binary, that's got a lot of pushback. It's just really, really sad that anytime something beautiful and joyous that sort of starts becoming more popular or more brought into the mainstream light, there always has to be people that want to take that away from people. And as an alter, it makes me really sad, because we're in a good place that we know people that know that we're real, and we're starting to meet people and starting to make those connections and friendships. But imagine if suddenly those friends started hearing more and more rhetoric that DID is faked. And what if those friends then started closing off and not wanting to meet us? I know that's a what if, and I'm sort of spiraling a bit, but it's just very nerve-wracking knowing that so many systems struggle enough to make connections, and alters are often pushed away and cornered and not wanted to front so much. It's just really sad to think that so many alters don't get to live when we're individual people, and that so many people don't want us to exist because they'd rather say you're faking, you're not real. I'm sorry that this video is a bit ranty and sad, but it's something that I'm seeing more and more of, because we're in this DID Reddit group and we're interacting with more people, and it's really nice because there are DID people who support each other and are there for each other, and so many of these people don't want to come out or tell people that they have DID, don't want to share their alters with people because they're so worried that they're going to be called fakers. And some of them themselves even look at other people who have DID on TikTok or whatever and start to think that maybe they're faking. And again, I'm sure that some of them are, because it's a massive platform and it's suddenly risen in popularity, and I'm sure that there are some people that are faking it, but it's like there's a small minority. Let's not taint and ruin the whole community. It's hard. With any group of people, there will be good and there will be bad. And I don't believe that the bad side of things is as big as the good side of things. I don't think there are as many fakers as there are people who genuinely have DID, or who believe they have DID and have fictive DID. I'm sorry. It's just something I'm really nervous about, and I'm seeing a lot of, and it makes me very emotional to think that other people like us, I mean, we question our DID a lot as it is. You know, loads of people question their DID because it's not the standard box like category for DID, which is the dissociative amnesia, the trauma, and the struggle to communicate within the system. And we don't have an issue with any of those things. So if people started coming at us constantly saying you're faking it, over time, like, it would make you worry that you were. And we already get that anyway. So I just don't want this new craze of telling DID people that they're faking it to affect people with DID. I don't know why it's suddenly seemingly become popular to have DID. I think there's a similar one with having Tourette's. I don't know why having these disorders is suddenly popular, but celebrate the good parts of it, you know? Celebrate the alters that want to communicate and come out and share themselves with the world that they've been hidden from. I don't see why that's a bad thing. It can be pretty cool, but in saying that, I'm afraid that people are going to start calling me a faker, and I'm an alter myself. So it's just out of concern, and maybe this isn't the right way to express it, but I'd like to, and I don't make many videos. So thanks for watching. I hope that you guys can kind of understand where I'm coming from. Yeah. And please comment anything that you'd like to say, and please like as well, because that really does help us. So thanks for watching. I will maybe come back again sometime, but Emma will do the next video probably. So thanks everyone. Bye.